Welcome everyone. My name is Berta Hampel and I'll be leading a session today on the use of tech and data in sports. I have Mateusz Kusznierewicz here with us. Mateusz is a sailor, a businessman, a public speaker, and a mentor, as well as the world and Olympic champion and the creator of Sports Champion Academy. Uh, I work with data on a daily basis, and something I really enjoy, but probably something I enjoy even more is sailing. So I'm really excited that we're getting to have this conversation here today. Before we start this session, Mateusz, is there anything you would like to add from yourself?
Hi, Berta. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you, and I hope you enjoy today. Yes, I'm an athlete. I'm a sailor, actually. I started sailing long time ago when I was 9 years old, and this is my passion. Actually, I was very privileged also to represent Poland in the Olympic Games. I won the 2 medals, but I also failed. I didn't get the medal on many occasions, and I tell you, to fail, it's also something what I learned to make me stronger, because I always analyze, think why the things didn't happen, and I think this is the great, let's say, adventure in our life, that we can learn not only from the successes but also from the hard moments. Today I'm mostly focused on Academia Mistrzów Świata. So this is kind of education platform, actually not kind of, but this is the modern internet platform, which is for the people who are the athletes, but also coaches or the parents of the young athletes. And we are making a lot of valuable materials, video, but also text, the podcasts, which many people, doesn't matter if they are doing athletics or lifting the weights, or running or biking or triathloning or playing volleyball or football, they can learn in our academy. So I'm very happy that I'm doing something which is close to sport, but also this is a business project. And this is what I'm doing for a living.
Thank you. That sounds like a great initiative. So thank you for sharing that with us. Obviously, you have a lot of experience as a sailor, but also as a coach and someone actually developing tech and data solutions. So it'll be really interesting to hear a bit more about your perspective on this topic today. Let's start with a simple but interesting question. So how can athletes and sports teams benefit from the use of data and tech in sports? And also, would you say that such solutions don't go against the fair play rules?
Well, this is an interesting question. So first of all, what I can tell you, what I'm using and what is important for me. The technology in my life and my sport is something which I'm using every day. And not only when I'm training or competing, but also in between, because I want to learn what my body, what my mind is ready for. And this is why I'm using the device which I have on me every day. Actually, this is not the band. I use the Aura ring. This is kind of ring. This is my marriage ring, but this is the technology ring with a lot of sensors, battery inside. And it's connecting, and it's always analyzing about my body, my heart rate, my body temperature, my stress, and many other data. It's connected to my smartphone, and I open the Aura application, and here you can see my readiness today. It's 85. My night, my sleep, it's 90. Oops, like this. Says that my sleep efficiency this night was 92%. My total sleep was, I wish it would be a little bit longer. It was 7 hours and 18 minutes. Actually, I was in bed 7 hours, 59 minutes, where you can see, but it's my sleep was a little bit shorter. And I can see also what was my lowest heart rate. Why I'm using it? Because I want to know and control everything what influence my energy, my focus, and my stress, which I want to have under control. So there is many things what it's important. Also my activity, about my heart rate, how many calories I burn. So it's also important how much I eat, because the fuel for us, for our brain, but also for our other muscles, is not only food, but also how we recover. And good for everyone is that good news for everyone is that this is available for everyone. You can order it. You can have different bands which measure also your the same, monitor your life. And this is something what I think is fair. The other story is that there are also there is a technology which is not available for everyone. And this is sometimes very advanced technology. And in this case, this is the big question mark. Is it fair or not fair? I know that in the professional sports like NBA, basketball, football in top clubs, Formula One, and many other sports, some technology is customized and made only for this, and this costs a lot. But I think today that in the normal sport, Olympic sport, most of the technology is available for everyone, and I think it's good. So you can have a technology on you. You can have it on your bike. You can have it on my sail, which I'm using, and I want to learn what is its shape and aerodynamic flow, how it goes in a different wind conditions. So I think this is something what makes me better athlete, better sailor actually. And I think everyone in every sport can find the way to advance, to get better, thanks to technology.
Thank you. I think that certainly makes sense, that the technology helps us understand ourselves better, but also the equipment that we use. However, there are some limitations in terms of availability to everyone, and that's when it may become a bit of a problem in terms of fairness. So we've talked about what technology can do. Are there any things it cannot do? Do you think there are any areas of sports that cannot be replaced by data and tech solutions?
Yes, I think there is some limitations for the technology. I can see that technology, even it's really well advanced, the computers are very strong and the sensors are better and better, and the software is growing unbelievably fast. But still, we as humans have got our emotions, which are not easy to control and analyze. There is so much, not only data, but also chemistry in our brain. And I think to control the emotions, which are so important, they are actually influencing the results, the performance. It's something what the technology still cannot do as good as the athlete himself or herself, or the coach, or the whole support team. Also, what I can see, that actual view, so what we see during the action, during on the field, in the car when we are racing, on the bike, also when we are facing, fighting with the competition. I cannot imagine that the computer itself, the technology, could see everything and analyze in a real time as good as our brain. Thanks also to the trainings and many hours, weeks, months, and years of experience, of getting this experience during the trainings and the competition. I have a good example for you. Just recently, there was a Formula One race in Monaco. I'm a big fan of the Formula One, not only because Robert Kubica was there, but I learned about Formula One when Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost were competing against each other. But now it's super cool, and there is so much technology in this sport. So I'm following and learning what I can bring from Formula One to my sport. Anyway, This race was tricky because it started in the rain, big rain, cloud rain. So there was a lot of changes and strategy, and the wheels, wet wheels for the wet asphalt, and then in which moment they have to change for intermediates and slicks. And it's all about the positioning. So for sure, what we can learn that the Red Bull and Ferrari, they were fighting against each other, but there was the strategy which makes the human with the support of the technology, because I'm sure that the people who were making the decision, calling the final, making the final call, when to come to the pit stop and change the wheels and so on, they had a lot of data on the screens, and there were some simulations. I know it because I learned it. But on the end, computer itself could not make the final decision, the right decision. There was also the input from the driver, from the different sources. So there are some limitations which today the computer still cannot do. And I think there will be areas of our life where technology cannot replace the human. And I think it's a good news.
Definitely. I guess at the end of the day, it's people who are in the core of sports, and it's not just technology itself. So as mentioned, technology can support us, but it's still people who play the most important role. So you've mentioned that technology solutions have rapidly developed over the past few years. Can you tell us a bit more about how technology and data solutions have changed over time since you started being an active athlete?
Right. So it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. Actually, what we can see is that, I remember what was like this 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. But the biggest, let's say, acceleration of the hardware and software was during last 5, maybe 3 years. And I also see that today we have a 2022 June, and I can imagine, and I also follow the kind of looking in the future, that between 2025 and 2030, it's going to be huge different for all of us. What I can see that hardware and software, this is something which every day, is getting better, faster, smaller, and more available for everyone. But what I can see is the biggest improvement is in the data analysis. So all of the sensors, or all of the cameras, and all of the applications, software, how it's all connected, it's there. But to analyze the data, it was always the challenge. Also for me, I have so much data to available for myself, but to bring it together, to learn from it, and to get the results, what is better, what is worse, this was the challenge. And now computers, software, and this data analysis are improving hugely. And it's in business and also in sport. And I think this is something what we can benefit from today, data analysis.
That's great to hear also, because it's my field, so really exciting. And is there anything that data or technology helped you realize? Is there any stories that you can share with us?
Oh yeah, for sure. Of course, my sport is very technically advanced. My boat, the shape of it, the materials it's built, how stiff, strong it is. My masts, which bends, which has to be dynamic. My sails, the cloth it is, but especially the shape of it for the light winds, how the shape should be changing for the stronger winds, so I can sail fast and high. This is important. All the ropes, they've got a lot of tension on it, and I have to not only understand how it all looks and what is the shapes and what is the tension, but I want to know what is the optimum performance, what is the optimum shapes and the tensions, so I can repeat it for the next competition. If I know today that within this competition, in this sailing conditions, on these waves, on this temperature of the air, in this strength of the wind, these settings of my boat are the best, I need to know what are the settings. If it's is it 85, is it 91, is it 96? Don't care about the numbers. I'm just giving you the repetition. And if I know that this is 91, I want to know how to repeat it, how to set it again the same way within 2 months when I will be sailing next during the World Championships. And this is the key to the success. The repetition, to understand where we are, what is good, what is wrong, and how can we, if it's wrong, how can we improve, and how can we repeat. So, it's not going to be only once when we are winning. And I think this is something what is really important. I give you another example, the weather forecast, which is so important for us. When we are racing, we need to know how the wind is going to increase or decrease, how it's going to shift from left to right, for example, at what time, how many degrees, so I can, on my logbook, on my strategy, I can say which way to go on the beginning, so I can benefit from the change which weather forecast says. And this is computers, a lot of data, statistics being analyzed by the person who is our weatherman. And he has a huge, very strong computers to give us the final forecast. But also what he used is the real-time data. So, for example, on our venue, when we are sailing, there are buoys floating in the water with the sensors. And these sensors are connected to the network. So they are sending the real-time data. So the forecast, the statistics, but also real-time. And all of this would be impossible by one man to see the numbers and learn from it. So there is a software made especially for this. So it gives him the indications and in a percentage, okay, 85% that this scenario will happen. And we are receiving actually very squeezed, very selected information, which I can understand and use during the racing. So from the big data, which is analyzed, it's squeezed and given to me. And this is big help, actually. Every top team during the Olympic Games, during the America's Cup, wherever they race, they learn from it. And they pay for this kind of service. And I think this is also something what is normal today, which was not normal many years ago.
Definitely. So it certainly sounds that data and tech solutions not only help us understand our own performance, but also conditions that we can't control, like the weather that you've mentioned, and therefore combining the two gives us a much better understanding of how we should proceed the next time we're participating in the sports competition, or if we just want to improve our own results.
This is nicely said, Berta. I think you mentioned something which is important in our life. Some things we can control and some things we cannot control, but we can predict. We can give some, way to give a chance that this is going to be quite, a big chance that this will happen. And I think prediction, this kind of scenario and giving the percentage of the chance that this will happen is something what also today technology can help us with.
Absolutely. And I think that leads us quite nicely into my final question. So I wanted to ask about Target 10 because you've actually launched a tech and data solution yourself. So I just wanted to understand a bit more about why you decided to invest your time in a solution like this and what kind of opportunities you think it unlocks for athletes and coaches.
Yes, Target 10 is the software we are working for more than 2 years now. This is the software which is also targeted to the athletes, so they can improve their performance and the results. And as you said, Target 10, actually the name of the Target 10 is to target. So I have a target and I want to, like in, shooting in, how you say, with the arrows. Archery. So you are getting into the 10. So this is the very interesting software in a SaaS technology availability business model, where athletes from all around the world, they can connect and also have available for statistics for the wind and the weather venue. They can cooperate with their coach to analyze their performance. They can it's also education platform where they can have online meetings with the coaches and the specialists, for example, from the weather, from the technology, from the boat building, but also from the sport sponsoring and marketing and communication in sport. So this is one place where the athlete can find everything what he needs. And actually, we made it because we need it. So we found out that I have around me many notes and so on. I also have a lot of stuff on my smartphone, but I don't have one place where I could keep it. And now, thanks to Target 10, we have one place which just solve all of my needs and problems and challenges. So this is pretty cool, and I'm proud that I bring this to the market, which is the technology, which I'm a big fan, as you can see.
Definitely, yeah, it's definitely something to be proud of. It sounds like it quite nicely brings together the data aspect, but also the human aspect, the human knowledge, as you've mentioned. Right, well, that was my final question. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and experiences with us. It was really interesting and inspiring. Is there anything else that you want to share before we close the session to everyone watching us today?
No, I think we touched many things. I think what I can tell you is that I learned the technology in sport the hard way. I fight a lot with devices, with the hardware, software. But what I found out on the end is the way we are using it. We have to be smart. We have to use technology that way that it will help us not only burn our time, use our time, and we will be there, but it will not bring anything. If we have a challenge, if we want to solve the problem, if we want to improve with something, we should use this technology the way it will help us, not only use our time. And I think today we can recognize, as I said before, 3 areas of technology. The one is the hardware, the second is the software, but the third, which is just great today, is the way it is analyzed. The data is analyzed, and this analysis can bring us the very important and valuable information, the input, which we can use. And I think this is the key. The way we are receiving the information, the most important and valuable informations, which we can use and get better for the future. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. And it was a pleasure to have you join us, Mateusz. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. All the best.